Now, how many of us are very, very comfortable with the prices of things in the market? Is there anyone? You're very happy when you go to the market and then you're told of prices of things, you're very happy. Is there anyone? Now, what are some of those things that are expensive? For me, one of the things that makes me very angry is the cost of oil. Is there anyone like me? The cost of oil, cooking oil. All right? I know that there's a particular brand of oil we used to buy for 8,000 naira, 7,000 naira, 3 or 4 liters or thereabout. But right now, that particular oil is sold for 13,000, 12,500. And it's like every day you go, the price is changing, true or false. But for me, I think that God has given us the health reform to be able to protect us from these pressures. All right? When people are crying, I'm not sure we're supposed to cry with them because God has provided us with a simpler way of living. Is that not? A lot of us complain of things because we do not use them the way we're supposed to use them. Yes, oil is expensive, but you can imagine some people consuming 3 liters or 4 liters of oil in 2 weeks. Is it possible? Yes, what do? We fry, isn't it? We make stew. We make a lot of things, and each time we're cooking, we have a lot of oil on top of it. But is that economical? Is it? Okay, apart from being not economical, is it also healthy? It's not, isn't it? Because if you look at the kind of oil we consume from this part of the world, most of the oils are refined, true or false? They are refined. And then, little wonder, I guess, that a lot of people are coming up with high cholesterol, bad cholesterol. Am I correct? A lot of people, okay? And then they are placed on cholesterol-lowering medication, which the other side of it is something else, okay? So God wants us to live simple. The truth is that things will keep getting tougher. But as things are getting tougher, God is revealing a more simpler way to his children to survive. And that is what we're trying to do. Now, most of the dishes we're preparing today are without oil at all. Some we're using very little oil. Some of us may say, how can I eat food without oil? Isn't it? Would it be tasty? But do you know that some of these things we complain of are actually psychological?
I'm going to be preparing fried rice. Fried rice. With just our little simple home remedies that we have here. And little oil. When the tomato, like most of us that are in the far end, pieces of tomato for 1,000 naira. When there is no tomatoes to make your stew, you can just gather around the things you have in your backyard and produce a very sweet and clean fried rice. And also, I'll be making okra soup. As health reformers, many people say, how can we cook okra soup without Maggi and it will still be sweet? In our practical this afternoon, we are going to be explaining how you will make it, and it will be very tasty for you. And another soup I'll be making egusi soup. For most of us, we say, I have a very large family and egusi is expensive. How can I make egusi without, for it to rise? Because most of us will enjoy the thick egusi. So I'm going to explain how you can make your normal egusi and still have those sweet, sweet balls that you enjoy, and it will be enough for your large families. So that is what we'll be doing here. So, hot water. And then add my rice. It will change the color and it becomes beautiful already.
All right, for my own bean chapati, I already have the paste here. You washed your beans as usual, just like you're making moi moi. You can add your bell pepper, your onions, and every you want to put garlic or any other. So, adding salt for taste. And of course, we're using sea salt, which is healthy. We all know. Okay, sea salt. This is.
Okay. I myself also use sea salt for my cooking in my house, in my home. So, I'll continue with, as the water is boiling, I'll put little salt in order to taste. So that once it starts boiling, I will put my rice. It will just done. I will allow it to cook like 30 minutes. It will done.
All right, you mix it to a consistency that is not very watery and not very thick. For those of us that are familiar with making moi moi, not very thick and not very watery. What I'm using is a non-stick pot. All right, that's what I'm using, non-stick pot. So I'm putting it on fire to be hot. All right, so we'll be a little patient. All right, we'll wait for this one.
Wait for it while it is boiling. I may be preparing my sauce so that once this is done, you quickly turn it. Your fried rice is good to go.
Now, for the vegetable broth, you can use as many vegetables as are available to you. We are using carrots, and you can put as many as, depending on the quantity you want. Another thing with this vegetable broth is, after preparing it, you can actually sieve it out. Take away the vegetables, and then all you're left with is the broth. You can refrigerate it. You can use it to season your food, other meals. Maybe you're making soup. You can just fetch the broth and add to it, just like people use chicken broth, right? And any other broth. But for us, we're using it to eat rice or any other thing. So we have a lot of carrots. Tomatoes is optional. If you don't have it, you can do without it. We're also putting beetroot. It's part of the dish. Yes, thank you. Then we're using spring onions, turmeric for coloring. You know, when the color of beetroot and turmeric blends, is beautiful. And then we're using sea salt, of course. Yes, beautiful celery. We're using celery leaves. Celery has a very nice aroma. So when you cook it, you would enjoy it. And we're encouraging us. Some of these things we can actually replant them in our homes. When you buy celery, all you need to do is just to plant the root, and you'll be grateful you did, because you keep harvesting it as you water it and nurture it. Then onions, garlic, ginger, any other spice of your choice you can add to it. So when you have all these vegetables together, I forgot we also have green beans here. You can add peas. Like I said, as many vegetables as you want. If you have few, don't be scared, use them. You just put everything together in a pot and then add enough water, allow it to boil. It can boil for an hour or even more than that. Nothing is lost. No nutrient your minerals are still there. Okay? And after that, you remove it and it's ready for serving. You can add cayenne pepper to it. You can add just any herb that you want. All right, while she's doing that, we'll wait so that we can make our...
To explain further what I just did, I'm trying to turn my awara. This is awara tofu. For most of us, you know, when you see fried rice, you will see liver inside. Now, when you get your tofu, yes, it's all about playing with the food. When you get your tofu, you cut it to the shape of the liver. That's how I do it in my home. You cut it to the shape of the liver, and then you can see I put a little oil, and it will turn brown a little before I put other vegetables. And one thing you should know is that when you are using your vegetables, you don't put them at the same time. Each one, you put it at different intervals so that each one will bring out its taste. And you minimize the quantities you put so that one will not overpower the other. And in some cases, like when making this sauce, you can use your thyme. Thyme is a herb. There are other ingredients, natural ingredients. Just play around your kitchen. God will give you inspiration to make testimony that you will even be surprised. Say, how did this happen? So This as it turns, while our rice is boiling, it will turn brown. Like for me, I bake. This is a fresh awara. That's why I'm taking this time. When you bake it, it's already brown. I'll just chop it to the sizes I want. So I want it to turn brown, so that I cannot be putting my spices. It's already turning with our little oil. When you do it this way, you have peace of mind. If oil is expensive in the market, it won't be touching you because you are not making much use of the oil. So while that is doing, I already have my onion chopped. I already have my sweet pepper chopped. I already have my green beans chopped. And my ginger and garlic. They're all ready. So while that is happening, I'm adding my ginger and my garlic to spice it up a little. To spice it, you can see it's really turning like liver. So while this is coming in, I'll add a little salt, because once your meat, for those of us when we cook our normal, once it's tasty, once you get the foundation very good, you don't have to struggle at the end. So I'll add my meat, little salt. You don't have to put plenty.
You know, one thing with vegetarian cooking is you have to be creative. And the truth is that God gives inspiration. Sometimes you just be in the kitchen and God will just drop an idea in your heart. It's so beautiful when you're able to bring out your own recipes.
So it's ready. So I'm adding my onion. I'll also allow it to cook for like 1 minute. You can see all the oils are all gone. While it's cooking, I have my chili pepper so that it will be looking smart inside.
Maza Bell. Ma, did you remove the seeds or with the seeds? All right, the seeds are removed.
This is my spring onion. Just adding them. And our rice is cooking very well. This is my sweet pepper. So you can imagine by the time you add all this, your food is already looking good already.
We're still encouraging that as much as possible, let us learn to grow our own. Because these things are also getting expensive. And you may not get them at the time you want. But we can all grow this. I have tried that in my home with very limited space, and I'm telling you the joy of it, not to talk of the cost reduction, is something else. So as much as possible, let's grow them.
Yeah, this is our green beans. Because we don't want them to overcook. We just want half cooking. It's already turning out nice.
But for those of us who have problems with our teeth, I think we're permitted to cook them a little longer so that we'll be able to chew them.
So the last vegetable I will be adding is the cabbage.
I love the size of this cabbage, the way they were chopped. You know, when you're eating them, it's as if you're eating. For those of us that crave for meat and other, you know, it's so wonderful chewing in your food.